I knew it. You are a cheater wife, and you do not deserve my son.
No, let me explain.
What are you doing? You want to kill me.
I have to kill you. You have to die.
A husband lived with his wife and mother in a small city. Due to his work circumstances, he was forced to travel and leave them alone. The husband would call every few days to check on them, but the wife was not satisfied. She longed for connection and affection, which she eventually found in a younger man. Initially, the connection was a brief escape from her lonely days, but their relationship deepened. Soon they began meeting every night in secret. However, one problem loomed over their affair, which is her mother-in-law. The mother-in-law was a perceptive woman, sharp-eyed despite her frailty. The wife knew that if her mother-in-law ever discovered her secret, she would tell her husband and everything would fall apart. But the wife was not ready to end her affair, so she devised a plan to avoid suspicion. She began slipping small doses of sleeping pills into the mother-in-law's evening meals, ensuring the older woman would sleep soundly through the night. This allowed her lover to enter the house after dark, staying hidden until the early hours before quietly leaving. For a time, the arrangement worked, but the older woman, though sickly, was far from oblivious. She noticed unusual patterns, the slightly altered taste in her food, strange noises late at night, the faint scent of unfamiliar cologne lingering in the air. Suspicious and determined, the older woman decided to feign ignorance. She would not confront her son's wife directly. Instead, she would wait for the perfect opportunity to catch her daughter-in-law red-handed. One evening, feeling a sharp pain in her chest, but resolved to find out the truth, the older woman stayed alert, refusing to fall fully asleep. That night, after the wife had slipped the pills into the older woman's food, she prepared herself for her lover's arrival as usual. When he entered, the wife met him eagerly, whispering as they exchanged affection, unaware that the mother-in-law was listening nearby. For a few minutes, the two lovers were lost in their embrace. But the mother-in-law, with a surge of strength and righteous fury, made her way down the hall to their room. When the lovers saw the older woman, they froze, their faces turning pale. The man, gripped by terror, made for the back door and vanished into the night without a word. The wife realized that her mother-in-law would tell her husband, that her world would collapse, and that she would lose everything, including her reputation and social status. Driven by desperation, the wife did the unthinkable. She lunged at her mother-in-law, her hands reaching for her throat to silence her once and for all. The husband, accompanied by neighbors who had heard the commotion, stood stunned at the sight before him. He had returned quickly at his mother's request for an urgent matter, unaware of the terrible discovery he would walk into. The wife's grip loosened and she staggered back, realizing the gravity of what she had done too late. The neighbors who had witnessed the scene pulled her away while the husband rushed to his mother's side. She was alive, though shaken and weak. The wife was swiftly arrested, with enough evidence and eyewitness testimony to convict her. At the trial, the wife stood alone, facing the consequences of her desperate choices. She was sentenced to prison, and her reputation and dignity were destroyed.